Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another weekly live stream here on H2R, here to record YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me know if you can hear and see me just fine. I think maybe I'm coming in a little quiet, so I'll just give myself a little more volume. But otherwise, you can let me know as time goes on that you can hear and see me just fine. So today I'm going to talk about H2R layouts in general, but we can come to that later for sure. First of all, I just wanted to see who was here, check in with who's watching along from home and where you're watching along from. You'll also notice that I just threw up a poll there, but we can come back to that later as well. So yeah, we had people from all over the place, from the UK watching along, of course, from Germany. There's always a few folks from Germany watching along, which is excellent too. Here from the UK, Tim's here. Thanks for coming along, Tim. Argo56 says some funky jams going on. That's what you're here for. Exactly. I was having some fun with some funky jams there at the start for sure. But nice to see a lot of familiar faces here all along the way. vMix galore here says Petra over at Tech Condo. Exactly. We'll talk about vMix as the time goes on for sure. And yes, hello from Netherlands. Thanks for watching along from Netherlands. And it seems like you can hear and see me just fine, which is excellent. Always happy to hear that. Hello from Gothenburg in Sweden. Welcome, or thanks for tuning in. And from Canada and all sorts of excellent places. Joshua says, I can indeed see and hear you. Excellent. Thank you so much. And what was this from Rick here saying, did you, so I can't quite see that. 1 second, change to this. Did you change the CSS code for your chats? I changed more than the CSS code. I'm actually running the alpha version, the very early test version of the new rework of H2R graphics. So that's what you're seeing there. So far, it's running okay. I wouldn't say it's ready for prime time just yet, but I'm happy to test it on my stream, and a few of the alpha testers have been testing it on their stream. So I've changed more than just the CSS. I've changed pretty much everything. In fact, let me just show this little poll I just showed at the start, which was quite funny. Have you used H2R layouts yet? Now, whenever I asked this question at the very start, there was a handful of people in here, and the votes went very, very fast to no, but I can see that we're edging towards a 50-50 quite nicely, which is excellent. Maybe by the end of the video or the live stream, I will convince you to give it a go. That's the goal, right? So let me get rid of that for a second before I forget about it. Too many buttons to click here, that's for sure. A couple more people from Germany watching along here. Tim says you can see just fine. And thank you so much, Julian, for saying hi, my friend. Yes, absolutely. Petra wants to know, how can we help breaking H2R graphics? It would be a good chance for me to really quickly say that I have opened up the alpha testing to a handful of people. In fact, I've been on Zoom calls with a handful of people over the last few weeks, and they've been testing and breaking it basically. For better or worse, live or not. So if you want to join that alpha phase, again, it is pretty intense. I will be constantly bugging you. But if you're up for joining it, do send me a message on Discord, DM me through there, and then and we can take it from there if you're really up for it. But again, I will be annoying you for sure. So if you're up for that, then let's do it. And Jimbaku 2006 says, I like the design of the chats better than the beta. Like the design of the chat pop-ups better than the beta. Yeah, exactly. That's good. You like these better than the old ones? I have some stuff on that. We'll talk about H2R graphics in the future for sure. So today we have a few things to discuss, and let me just show those now. I've got 3 main topics that I want to get to before we kick into the main show. I have a video coming out this week, Web Presenter HD video. I've been filming with it, making some scripts about it, and we had a live stream with Doug last week about it as well. So lots of stuff to discuss there. The video's coming out. YouTube members already have early access to that video, so you can have a watch of it if you want. Otherwise, it's coming out this week. Next up, I've just created a members only Discord channel. So if you're in the Discord and you are a YouTube member or you're a patron, you will have gotten access to this members only Discord channel. Now would be a good time to sign up to become a member if you haven't already, for sure. There's a join button below all these videos. But the Discord, sorry, the Patreon integration works seamlessly. Once you sign up on Patreon, you get automatically added to this group. If you sign up on YouTube, it's not so automatic. I added a bunch of people there this week as best I could. If they had the same name on YouTube as they had on Discord, I was able to add them pretty easily. But I definitely missed some people. So if you think that you should be part of the group and you accidentally were missed, there's no offense intended. I just couldn't match you up with your Discord name. Send me a message on Discord for sure. We can sort that out, most definitely. It's all about Discord today. And the final thing is I'm testing out something I think will be quite fun, which is after this live stream today, which will end in about 55 minutes or so. So, figure that out based on your own time. We're having a members only Zoom hangout. So it's for Patreon members, patrons, and YouTube members. And if you've already been a part of those two groups, you should have already gotten a Zoom link that will start in the next 55 minutes if you're watching live. If you haven't got access to that link, you know what to do. DM me on Discord. And if you become a member during the time where we're live streaming here and you want to be part of that hangout, then you will have to also send me a message on Discord because, like I said, I'll have to do that manually. But I'd be happy to have you, for sure. So those are the three main pre-updates before I jump in to the H2R Layouts features. Let me just double check. There's not some crazy stuff happening over on the chat here. Petra, thank you so much. Oh, I can't click on that. There's a bug, definitely. You said a drink. You give me a super chat, which is excellent. An unclickable super chat. This is why, I'm using a beta software here. Anyway, you've said a drink for the awesome ideas and videos. Thank you so much. Apologies I couldn't show that on the screen. I will jot that down on the list of things to fix afterwards. I think I know why it broke, but I'll fix it afterwards. But thank you. Harold says you're a little late, but hello from Germany. No worries. You're here. That's what matters. And I need more fish. Peter says I need more fish. Yeah, I'm thinking if you've watched the stream before, you'll know that I had a fish poster up in the background. But we have since rearranged the tiny house a little bit here. And now I'm pointing a different direction. And I think I'm in need of a fish poster up here instead. So we were discussing this. I was convincing my girlfriend that I need to move the picture from over there to over here. So maybe that's a job for after the stream for sure. But yeah, thanks for that super chat, Petra, and thank you for the comment there. So one more look at the poll before I close it off here, showing on screen. Have you used H2R Layouts yet? And I can see that it's went off screen. Anyway, 41% says yes, and 59% says no. I'm not going to fix that now. I'm going to just take it off screen. But let's see. I might ask again at the end of the live stream and see if we're still at that number. So let's get into it. Let's talk about H2R Layouts. I'm just going to cut to my other screen here so I can see what I'm up to. Close that out of the way. You'll forgive me as I mess around and let you take a look at H2R Layouts, which you can now see on the screen. I can see someone's already Discorded me as well, so I'll get to that after this after a little while. But H2R Layouts, if you haven't used it before, originally it was intended as a way to create SuperSource layouts for the ATEM. So that's the idea. Instead of using the ATEM software control, you could use this website to create SuperSource layouts, static ones, and then actually I can just show you that right now. So if I just add a few boxes here, I'll add these three, throw them into certain positions. I can choose what cameras, I can choose what size, and some cropping. So I'll just do that. Really, really nice layout for sure. And then if I scroll down, you'll see that I actually get the XML macro code here, or I could just copy it and paste it into my macro pool over on the ATEM. So I have made a video about this before, but I have some ATEM improvements made for sure. One is now all these little boxes here. If you can see them, I'll just zoom in for you. These are all clickable, and you can use your keyboard to navigate. You can probably hear me smashing the keyboard in the background here. But if I just zoom out a little bit, it's just much better for finer control. So now you can actually use your keyboard and mouse or type in numbers here, and that will let you set this stuff up. So that's sort of step one, so to speak. I have actually also, if you don't want to create all these yourself, I did create a 100+ pre-made layouts pack that you can buy over on Gumroad. And in fact, if you've bought the pack already, this is a little note for you. I've just added a new chapter all the way at the bottom. I was reminded I forgot to add a few bits and pieces, so I just added this new chapter for sort of presentation style gigs. Maybe you have a speaker and a presentation, or you get the idea. Maybe like an iPad. Maybe the cropping's not quite right for an iPad, but it'll get you going. That's the whole idea here for the packs, sort of to get you started, and then you can expand from there. I can hear my phone buzzing in the background here. I'm just going to shut it up for a second. Quiet phone. There we go. So that's H2R Layouts for ATEM. That was some of the original features and a couple of new additions for the ATEM. And you can always check that out over on h2r.li/layouts. That'll take you straight to the website, the web app that I just showed you, and let you build all these fun things. And then the pack, the ATEM pack. This is the short link for that. h2r.li/layouts-pack. It'll get you right there to the Gumroad site, and you can get the pack. Loads of people have, which I'm really happy to see. People are using it. People are using the reference PDF that I just showed off there to send off. I'd never even imagined this, but they're sending it off to their customers and clients and saying, you go through this PDF and you pick a layout that you like. So that's another reason to use it. It's been pretty handy for that. So that's a look at the ATEM improvements. I kind of smashed through that, so to speak, because I have a lot more other improvements in terms of vMix. But I just want to turn my eyes to the chat real quickly before I head on some more. Lots of people coming in from more places, which is really cool. Thank you for joining. From Chicago, and MT's here late. Good to see you here. MT wouldn't be the same without you. Tim said, I received the Zoom link for the members only hangout happening after this live stream. Excellent, thank you. And Joe says, John needs an over-the-shoulder BTS cam, perhaps with a fisheye view. I totally agree. Actually, I'm slowly working my way up to getting a second camera in here. I have second cameras, but none with that kind of angle. I was thinking about mounting a PTZ up in the corner up here, so I could see, I could zoom into the desk if I want to show something, and then I could just sort of show a wide angle of the house while I'm setting up, or maybe I put it over there and I do more of a getting ready for the stream to start sort of angle. Something like that. It'd be fun. So I agree, most definitely. And thanks for H2R graphics. It helped me a lot. That's great to hear, Benny. Thank you so much. In fact, there was one comment at the very start here from Jared saying, hello, John. I used H2R graphics for the first time in a live stream and of a service for the logo in the lower third, and it worked great. Thank you. So that's very nice of you. Thank you so much for giving H2R graphics a go. I think for many productions, it'll work really nicely just to get some graphics on the screen. And I'm hoping with this V2 version coming out, it will be much more usable for all sorts of stuff. Yes. Ooh, V2 says Isotonic there. Absolutely right. I'm talking fast. I'm going fast. I know that. But if you have any questions about any of these specifics, then do let me know and I can get to them. But I think I'm going to head into the vMix portion. Unless, did I see a question just come in there? My chat is just running a little bit behind here, and I don't have it big enough on my screen. Yes, there we go. Where is it? Shane says, I'd love to become, oh, getting smaller on the screen here. Shane says, I'd love to become a member. Sorry, can you clarify the best way? Shall I find you on Patreon? Does that give me all the goodness? There's two ways, really, to become a member. Patreon has been more of a H2R graphics supporter style area. There's been plenty of other support on there, but that's the main one for H2R graphics, I've felt. And then the YouTube membership is a way to have a look at certain videos, the ones that are locked down just for members. So these days, I'm kind of pushing people, if they haven't set up a membership yet, I'm kind of encouraging YouTube, but Patreon is perfectly fine too. In fact, over on Patreon, you get access to if you go for a certain level, you get access to some stickers. So I have some here. Excuse my dirty laptop, but you get these stickers here, which is like little H2R graphics ones, which is quite fun. So it's really up to you. Whatever works best. I've found it's better to just sort of branch out amongst as many different places as I can, so that people like yourself can choose what way they want to support the channel. So it's up to you. Harold says, same here. I also used H2R graphics last week for the first time. Worked sweet as. Cool. For the first time. Excellent. And Chirag, thank you so much for watching along here. About to use H2R layouts for vMix and for 2 large shows in a couple of days. It is awesome. Thank you. Chirag, I need to give a special shout out to Chirag for sure, because I have to thank him for helping me, pushing me in the right direction to create this vMix layout stuff. So without him, I may never have gotten around to doing this. So thank you, Chirag. I'm happy that you're going to use it for 2 large shows. And Stan, thank you so much for the super chat. Apologies, I can't show it on the screen here. My bug still exists. I'm not going to fix it online. But thank you. You said, give me a super chat to say, for your PTZ fund. Excellent. Thank you. I shall use that. I shall use that money wisely for sure. Thank you. Rick Allen wants to know, how do we upgrade if we already purchased the big pack? The new layouts that I just showed, that new page that I just showed in the ATEM SuperSource layouts, it's part of the same pack. I sent out an email a while ago, or you can log back into Gumroad and you'll find the new download link for the new pack with all the new ATEM SuperSource ones in there. So that new page will be found on Gumroad. You don't have to do anything other than just log in and download it. It was part of the cost originally, so just jump in there and do it. And if you have any problems with that, just send me a message and we'll figure it out. But I added that new chapter to the original SuperSource pack, so you can always do that. All right, vMix time. Let me just think of the best way to show you this before. I think I need to just close down this window. There we go. And open up vMix and then show you vMix. And now you're looking at vMix. Excellent. So this is vMix. If you're not familiar with vMix, it is, I guess it's sort of like OBS, I could say. It's a PC only, in this case, a PC only application for mixing inputs, cameras, NDI feeds, SRT feeds. I mean, graphics. It does everything basically. The limitation to vMix is that you need to have a pretty decent PC to run it. But once you get that, then you're pretty sorted. So what you can see here in my vMix setup is a few bits and pieces. I have videos playing of me. I like to use these all as sort of demo clips here and me talking away. But what I want to show off specifically is what vMix call virtual sets. So this is what it looks like. You can imagine this used for a panel show or something along those lines. And what's really cool about the virtual sets is it has a animated transitions basically built in. So whenever I go to this one, you can see it just zooms into it. In fact, let me see, if I cut to this now, you can see it full screen, and that's me nodding away there. And then if I just click on one of these other little windows here, you can see that it swooshes over to the next one, swooshes out to the main shot. So let me cut back to show you vMix, and you get an idea of how it works there. What you can do is you can decide what's in each of these boxes, and then either go really slowly or really fast between each one. That's perhaps painfully slow, but you might not want to use that in a production, but maybe you do. Or you can choose cut mode, which just cuts between each one. And a very sleepy looking John there. I accidentally paused them all just now, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to show you. So that is a look at what's called vMix virtual sets, and it gets you pretty far. In fact, almost built into the software is all of that, or in fact, built into the software is all of those animations. They figure out that animation for you, so you don't have to do much work on your end, which is excellent. But a little bit like the ATEM, where building SuperSources isn't the most enjoyable experience. It is better in vMix for sure, but it's not as good as I would like it to be. So what I did was build a sort of second functionality into H2R Layouts. So if we go back up to the top here, you'll see there's this new option called vMix Virtual Sets. And what it does is it sort of unlocks up to 9 boxes, which is really cool. In vMix, you can have Well, I just kind of choose up to 9 because of some feedback I got from people. 9-panel show seems to make a lot of sense. So what I can do now is I can turn on up to 9 boxes. Now, I think for my example, no, actually, let's just do 9. That'll work just fine. Why not? But I am just going to go a little bit, all over the place in terms of the scale of them, just to prove a point for this particular video. So I'm changing scale on all of these just to get them all small enough to move them out of the way. There we go. So just like the ATEM SuperSource integration, or whatever word I want to use, I can put these boxes wherever I want them, and I made them all very small, but I think that's fine. So I have my 9 boxes in a layout. Now, what I can do from there for the vMix setup is I can give it a name. vMix virtual set H2R Layouts is the default name, and you have the same sort of XML file or text here, but for this use case, we're not going to copy that at all. What you can do instead is click on this download layout button, and that will download a zip file to your computer. And it's just downloaded it on my other screen here. Let me just extract it all, and then I'll just show you what you get from the zip file. You can always try this yourself, of course, afterwards if you want, definitely. Okay, I've got my zip file. So I've unzipped the zip file, and I have the contents here. So you get 9 boxes. These are just PNG images, and then a final back PNG, which is just a gray background, nothing too exciting there. And then you get this config file, which is actually the same as this XML that I showed you just a second ago. So from there, it's quite a nice experience in vMix. Who knew? It's really easy to load these things in and get them working just fine. So if I'm back over in vMix now, I can do add input, and I'll choose a virtual set style. In fact, you can see what virtual set is sort of intended for whenever you're in this window here. The intention really is, in general, is sort of these 3D style sets, but that's not something I would want to use. I want to use these fun little vMix style layouts that I wanted to create here. So I'm just off screen. I'm just navigating to that folder real quickly. And yeah, so I'm opening up that folder. There we go. And I've navigated to that layouts folder that I just downloaded there. And then I'll just click OK. And oh, I clicked on the wrong one. This is why you do live demos, isn't it? Let me just find it again. Hold on. I know, apologies. I'm just cutting away. I've loaded in so many different things on this computer, so I'm just finding the right one. Yeah, okay, here we go. So this is the folder you're seeing now, where that layouts existed that I downloaded, and I'll just say okay to that. There we go. That looks more like it. This is the one I just created on H2R Layouts a second ago, and you can see all the little boxes there. But what you can see is the wide shot, so to speak, or the wide zoom. But you can also see the individual boxes, and this has all been auto-generated via the placement and the zooms of each of these boxes has been auto-generated by H2R Layouts. So you don't have to do all this work yourself. If anybody out there has used vMix before to do these sorts of things, you'll know how time-consuming something like this actually ends up being. So what I can do is click on each of these boxes and, swoosh around to each of my panelists or whatever I end up doing and using this for. Or even better, you can just go into this little cut mode, like I said before, cut between each of the boxes, and then you get a nice clean feed of each person. The final step really is to go into the setup mode here, and for each of the boxes, now I'm not going to do this all right now, but for each of the boxes, you'll want to choose the person that should be in that box. So I'm just going to throw a few people in there, here and there. This is why I loaded in all those clips above. Let me just add one more. That one will do just fine. And now if I go into camera, and you can see I have all my little talking Johns in there doing their thing and part of the panel or whatever the case is. And then I can just cut between each one of them whenever they're talking, and they can do their bit, which is pretty cool. I think I need to press play on that one, and possibly on this one over here too, which I can't see because of stuff on my screen. There we go. So I can cut between them, and I can also swoop between them as well. So this is a look at the vMix version of H2R Layouts. This was an interesting project that went from sort of, I think I can do this too, it's ready to be released in possibly 3 or 4 days, because I guess I had done all the work on the ATEM version, and then just adding in the vMix stuff took me a day or two to get really right. But what took me the longest time, and what would be what project would be complete without lots of pre-made layouts? So on the vMix website, you can scroll down on the H2R Layouts vMix section, apologies, you can scroll down and buy the layouts pack. And what that'll bring you to is a selection of packs. Wait, that's the SuperSource one. This is the vMix one. It will create a selection of packs that I've created here. So I made a few, instead of the ATEM version where it's sort of like one big pack with everything. What I did was divide things up into smaller packs, and then a big pack at the end, like the Pro pack that includes everything. So you have the presenters pack, the interview pack, and you get all these layouts and the reference PDF with each one. The medium pack, which has 63 layouts, and this is the this is where I got a little bit carried away. I ended up making 171 layouts, so you can actually you get a PDF and all of the XML files for this. In fact, here's the Pro Pack PDF file. It ended up being quite the project to put. A lot of these are the same. A lot of these early ones are the same as the ATEM ones. But if we just keep on scrolling down, you can see we're getting a little bit carried away now, where we get up to 9 views here. So you can actually see a sort of 9-panel show that you might want to do, and it would look just like that. So whenever you download, or if you purchase the packs and you download all the files, then you just get access to each of these files, and you can just import it into vMix just like I did and shoot it off there. And that is a look at the quite the project that I spent the last week on, and then a little bit longer on adding more. And I actually released the pack and the website with only 4 vMix sources on there, but I ended up getting some early feedback within a day that it would be great if you had 5 or 6, and then it just turned into like, well, I might as well just add 9. So that's what lets me do interesting little layouts like that one you saw there on vMix virtual sets. It's pretty cool. I think it's something definitely to try out. If you have access to vMix yourself, then I recommend heading over to H2R Layouts, the website I showed before, and it's all in the same place now. So you can use that and create a virtual set, download the pack, or download the layout, I'm calling it, and then load it into vMix and just play with it yourself. And if you want to grab any of the vMix packs, the presenter one, the interview one, the medium one, and then the pro one, you can use this link here, h2r.li/layouts pack vMix. I've linked all this stuff below this video, so you don't have to necessarily type it out. You can just click on the link and go from there. So I hope you find that useful. Let me know if you have any specific questions about that. We can always chat about those in the post show, which is actually fast approaching. It turns out time went really fast there, and I had lots to demo, which is always nice. I like to have lots to demo. So oh yeah, thank you so much. Hubbard is here. Oh, I've got 2 things on now. Let me take that off. Looks great, by the way. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. I think you said something else there a second ago. Let me see. He said, if you offset one axis with 2 or -2 on all elements and the camera presets, you have transparent background. Maybe add a tick box. I will take a look into that afterwards. In fact, one of the interesting points about this whole setup was I was emailing with the creator of vMix, and I said, I find an interesting challenge. Whenever I scroll down this list, it jumps back up again. Is that something you could take a look at and maybe fix? And his response was, well, it turns out that we only really support 4 of these zoom levels, and the fact that all the rest of these worked was a little bit of an accident. So my recommendation to you now is to use these layouts and enjoy them. And in fact, I have a post over on the vMix forum to unlock even more of these layouts. So I recommend if you're already set up in there, then go for that for sure. MT said, I was on a flow. Looks really great, exactly, and very helpful as well. Thanks, John, for the amount of work. Yeah, this was an interesting one. It was more of an addition to the previous piece of work that I did, but it ended up being more than enough work for all the pack stuff. So yeah, I appreciate that a lot. So check out all that stuff. Try the website. You don't have to get the packs. You can always just use the website. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to, grab the pack too, because I really appreciate that as well. Wow. So I think we'll stick around, answer any more questions that pop up in the post show, which is kicking off right now. If you're watching live, don't go anywhere. Stick around. The post show starts in the next few seconds. But if you're watching on demand, the post show is for members only. You'll find a link to it in the video description. But like I said, if you're here live, thanks for being here live. I just want to thank a few fine folks as well. I always like to thank the members of the channel. Thank you for being here, joining up on the channel, and no matter what level you joined in, I appreciate it a lot. Showing your support for the channel helps it a lot because it makes me make more videos. It helps me grow things, hopefully unlock more interesting videos that I can make in the future, that's for sure. But specifically, there's the Supreme supporters that I always like to thank. Patrick, thank you so much for their Supreme support, and Jim over at Cloud Bedrock as well. I do appreciate the two of you giving extra Supreme support to the channel. And yeah, join me in a few seconds for the post show. I think I have a button here somewhere that should do that. Here we go. Are you ready? Let's see if this works for me. I don't know if it will, but I'll see you in the post show in a few seconds. All right.